Like, you are a very squishy champion, and Moham as well, with a lot of healing, a lot of shielding in his back pocket for the Zeri, going to have a pretty difficult job keeping his AD alive.
Invade Wars continue to rear their ugly head. Beishong did not take the red buff. Junhao actually secured it himself. The smite nearly goes wrong for Beishong. He does grab the big raptor, but Saber's throwing down tons of stones, and Zhang over the wall makes sure that Beishong has nowhere to escape, and Ultra Prime able to capitalize for first blood, but more blood may be shed. This bot side as Starry flashes forward, nearly finds both kills. Volatile bottom lane. Good early rotation here for OMG to play into their win con.
Yeah, and this does concede that dragon early on, right? Like we talked about the change up from Grubs, and now Zhang.
He's 2 levels up. He has the needlework. He knows that Star doesn't have flash or barrier, and just like that, maybe this wasn't the lane that Starry wanted to go towards, as Zhang now becomes the super inflated Gwen. Moham with the shield is going to try and outplay it. Will make it a trade, but that's still a 2-for-1. The Zhang will easily cash in.
Guilty is so very powerful, and the power on these Grubs is so high. They're trying to find this fight. Should be on OMG's side. Yeah,
and they can kind of disguise the ultimate until it finally pops. They do it with the Zerial in tow, but Beishong gets poked very, very low. Has to pop the Crescent Guard and back off just like that. And that's the main engage tool for the Zeri on the Lightning Crash. But at the very least, it will get OMG control of the Grubs until the Grand Starfall comes across. And just like that, Junhao pops on top of Beishong and drops him. Spirit Rush is going to come out, but a great stun comes across there from Saber to force Charlotte back. And now he's having to flash away. Just when you think Ultra Prime have to play on the back foot, they strike and claim everything.
Hit for Ultra Prime, and if OMG try to fight this, they are going to be at a decided disadvantage. Beishong sniffing around. Don't give it a 50-50, guys.
Yeah, Junhao, you got to either engage or try and burn it down here, and he's going to take the first option and jump right on top, but he gets popped, and there was an angle for Beishong to steal away that dragon, so they do grab it, but it's going to be Ultra Prime that still feel way more comfortable fighting.
Actually gives them a slightly better chance of fighting.
As much as we like to make fun of Yuumi as a champion that is so easy to play, in the pro level, bouncing around certain opponents can make you very, very volatile as the Culling comes down, but Starry takes negative damage. Saber gets exhausted and thrown off the Weaver's Wall as Charlotte explodes onto the scene. Junhao jumps in just to try and save his bottom lane, and there's OMG playing the overload towards the river and cashing in a huge team fight win.
Side of the shield so that Junhao's E is not doing anything to block the damage coming through from the Xin Zhao, and Zhang's TP did come through, and now he fancies a fight.
They've left him. They've left Beishong to do this Rift Herald alone, and Zhang is just going to capitalize. The needlework, the last batch, with the snip of the scissors, gets the kill, and just like that, OMG's great play. Cap falls down, and Xiaoxia puts the nail in the coffin on that comeback.
Yeah, I mean, the ebb and the flow. That was a perfect example of how this game seems to have gone, where OMG find a little bit of an advantage, but just not quite right execution on the aftermath of it. Really costs them there. They had, 2 members down on the map, and if they'd have just played a little bit more reserved, let's say, they probably would have come away with a really good advantage, but Entirety, if he stays in the mid lane as well, probably saves them.
Well, now Beishong is definitely starting to get desperate with some of these engages. He dashes onto Lucian. What a seismic shove used to the Weaver's Wall there from Saber. Throws both Moham and Beishong into the grinder.
Around that Rift Herald, but they've not been able to do really anything else successful since or before then. 0-5-2 for Beishong, and this is the life that a Xin Zhao will lead if you need to start a fight, and really it is him that needs to start them. They've got really easy setup for this as well. Pushing both of those side lanes, looking for a collapse into the mid lane, probably just a dive on this tier 1 if they can.
Starry's got to be careful trying to hold this wave here. Zhang, though, off to the side, was trying to hold a pretty aggressive angle. Going to surround the first charm. They commit the unstoppable onslaught, but Zhang's health bar is just not going down quick enough. He heals through 2 ultimates, and the tidal wave from Xiaoxia gets the top laner out and claims the mid-tier 1 in the background.
In some recent time, as Starry goes in.
Jumps right on top of him, trying to make the difference. The desperation for OMG to try and find a big win from behind. Starry is going all out, but he's going to fall right in front of Saber's face. Can't get through the entire army of Ultra Prime on your own, Starry. A commendable effort, but now OMG are just throwing themselves in one at a time, and that is a recipe for disaster as Charlotte's antics fall flat, and it forces Beishong and Harry to flash back towards their turrets, but Junhao is only going to let the tanky Scion escape. Desperation play for OMG falls flat. It's going to cost them even more as this game will slips further out of their fingertips.
Pretty much out of their control. They're going to have to do something a little bit wild to get back into this, but a reminder, Weaver's Wall is up. Grand Starfall, maybe not, but OMG, they're on a clock here before they can get collapsed on. Zhong's sniffing around as well. Here comes Wako, here comes Xiaojia. Even without the Talia wall, this could be a disaster.
They're corralling the cattle for slaughter. Here down goes the Thornbound Atakan, but look at the damage Wako does to Beishang before he gets the Crest Guard even down. The Culling doesn't get the job done, but the scissors, the golden pair for Zhang is definitely bringing the big-time load to this fight, but it's a huge stun for Harry. The Ultra Prime have walked in one by one just like OMG in the last fight, and it might cost them here as Junhao and Saber go blow for blow. Harry's zombified Scion buys just enough space for Starry to sneak out. And OMG come away the winners when we thought they wouldn't be able to find any sort of footing. Zhang has decided to walk his way all the way up towards this Baron, will be spotted, and that does allow Charlotte to respond to the bot wave comfortably. So there's not a wave that's really pushing against OMG, it's their jungler's health bar that's pushing against their efforts to make the comeback. Beishang cannot be the first one to fall here. Now OMG, they basically have to fight their way into a win or they'll lose Baron, and Zhang is looking to take everything. He wants his cake and to eat it too, and he's knocking down Harry's health bar with the help of his squad. The top side for OMG falls, and that makes Baron a guarantee for Ultra Prime.
And Ultra Prime just make the Scion look like butter. All of those items do nothing when you can't even tank them for a 5-10 second window. The backline had nothing to do. Zhang positions himself perfectly. With the Shroud coming down, nobody can deal damage to him or pass through the Gwen at all. Baron's gonna fall, and 40 seconds before the Baron, the Dragon, excuse me, the timing is perfect. Starry's overextended. He's gonna get this turret, but he's gonna get TP'd on for it.
Yep, Zhang's here first. It's a double TP. Saber's here as well. That turret is going to earn you a colon to the face as Starry's jaw gets knocked off, and Moham falls with him.
To catch a wave, push that in, and Ultra Prime, they don't need to take this Drake on spawn. They can use the Baron to the best of their abilities, and they can just push it all the way through the base if they like. Two members of OMG are stood trying to stop the Dragon.
Oh, Beishang, good seismic shove there. Even though the Crescent Guard Saber gets him close enough to drop the damage. Stasis is right when the charm comes in for Charlotte, and the point-and-click stun for Junhao lands. And Rude, I think we might not even need a Hextech Soul the way this game is going.
I'm thinking it's going to be a formality. If Ultra Prime don't end here, then they'll probably just use that as an exit objective, walk their way down to that Dragon, find that before they recall.
They want it now.
I mean, Harry is not tanky at all.
They don't want this game to reach 30 minutes. Ultra Prime want to make sure it's known that OMG cannot compete with a squad with play-in aspirations. Down goes Harry and Starry. It's only Moham who gets popped like a balloon by the 3-item Wako. They've got the grubs, they got the Baron waves, and they're looking to make a statement in game one. Ultra Prime nowhere near the same level as OMG as they look to command this series 1-0 up.
A big win from Ultra Prime as Wako even throwing in.
Poppy is what I like to call a series clinching support pick because for whatever reason, in the LPL, I've also seen in some of my home region games, whenever this champion gets locked in, it's always would be pivotal for OMG's composition, but at the very least they'll force Xiaoxia to burn through some of those pots and drop the Ignite out of safety.
Which is a win in its own right here, and I mean, Starry should be able to just hop on the back of the Rakan and get a base.
Xiaoxia. Wow, he's going all out for it. Immediate heal, though, comes out here from Moham. Gets the knock-up. Starry has more than enough HP, especially with the barrier, and does finally earn that first blood, and maybe gets a second here. The root, perfectly timed. Collapse of the Ultra Prime bottom lane gives the OMG opening.
Really get any form of neutral objective. They were able to steal away one dragon, and then after that, nothing else really went their way at all. So a good little boost for their chances in this game, and a reminder that for OMG, this series means nothing for them. If they win it, they're still eliminated from.
Around some of these guys you currently have on the roster, I know they've made a lot of swaps in mid and jungle since we got into the Rumble stage, but we talk about how the players can play for potentially new spots in 2025 no matter the result, but you also can play for telling this organization, hey, Pale, they force Galio to come topside. It will force this first turret down, but Ultra
collapsing.
Prime, yeah, could come across. There's not many ultimates up for OMG by this point.
Now moving into what is this Mountain Dragon getting picked up for OMG. It's pretty much uncontested. Ultra Prime, you can see, playing very tentatively, and for OMG as well. They're starting now to begin that Drake stack.
Pretty scary on this York as he knocks down the turret with Junhao. Bonus execution engage comes across from Harry as they have a support teleport coming through, but he doesn't kill off Zhang in time, has to flash out. The hero's entrance just mere feet away from Harry. Charlotte channels that, but does not save the Ambessa, and now Charlotte's trapped in 1v3 with all the damage dealers out. The mistakes of OMG showing their ugly head once more and opening up a huge lane for Ultra Prime.
Yeah, Zhong just whacks Charlotte with a big spade and takes down this gargoyle. And I mean, with OMG finding their advantages on the top side, taking that Rift Herald, it's a win for them. Flips and Ambessa. Ambessa has a shield built into her kit as well,
yep.
So you get two for the price of one.
Ooh.
Realm Warp.
Mid-tier 1 down. Realm Warp in. The reinforcements have arrived. Junhao gonna flash and hit the cease and desist. The Featherstorm still comes out from Star. They get protected by the Redemption, but there's the damage from Wako. Too bad though, he's got an Ambessa right in front of his grill that throws it down. Zhong arrives to the fight with the main, but it is a man advantage for OMG. How do they look though without their AD carry in a very frontline based composition? Well, they look like they don't want to fight any longer, and they'll just take the 2-for-1 win.
Too aggressive.
Talked about it though, the lows and the highs of Ultra Prime is when they feel like they're backed into a corner and have to fight out of their strength of their composition, especially in points where they're playing from behind. So as much as we praise the game one from Ultra Prime, that was what we felt like the ceiling was. What will make them a better team that can potentially threaten for playing in tournament against LGD and further beyond is how do they look playing from one of their low points right now as this game progresses past the 20-minute point.
To try and take this fight.
Second Drake, you got little vision if any. Looks like Ultra Prime will take the smarter approach here and give up that dragon to try and catch some more waves and grab some more items. Maybe try and catch Moham a little too far up, trying to prevent a blue buff take, but won't. Like this from Ultra Prime because they are still waiting on.
Get in there.
Is this an overextend? Yeah, I was gonna say maybe we don't give the Otacon, but they might not know this thing's going down until it's a little bit too far too late. Junhao has the Vault Breaker. Are they going to throw the jungler in there? The Keeper's Verse take them all off. Look at the quickness, though. Gets 3 charmed up into the Hero's Entrance knockup, and now they've got Beishong back here. The heroics of Moham neutralize the Keeper's Verdict, and now Ultra Prime are completely cornered. Trying to corral them is Beishong. Good route comes across from Saber. Flashing is Beishong, but he gets nobody with the Impale. Xiaosha may fall at the very least here. That ultimate could have really broken this game open. Instead, it's the Ixtal's Impact. Another good flash from Wako. Gets away from the big-time Ambessa ultimate. Ultra Prime, they get their lucky stars. They only get out of there with one dead.
Moham, an incredible fight around this Atacon. Gold for, like, if you imagine you go back to base with 1,000 gold, you pick up a Dirk. You're thinking, yeah, that's a pretty good buy with it. Collector as well is not awful versus what is currently 1-2 people who have built any sort of armor. Yeah. Oh, sorry, there is a cloth armor in Junhao's inventory. That's now a plated steel cap, but you know, this is a really squishy team.
The plan is that Ultra Prime do have 2 scaling threats, so keep an eye on Saber towards his bot side as the snap engage does come across here. He finally hits that public execution. Impale comes across on the Zhong as well, and the Yorick is knocked down. Boy, did it take a lot, but OMG get the kill done.
Yeah, all 5 people now down on this bot side with those grubs, remember. They're going to lay waste to this turret very quickly. A teleport into the top side from Charlotte just stops Saber in his tracks, and it's a really solid play on the map once again by OMG as they find a collapse onto the Yorick, who's probably not overextended, but is far enough out so that he can finally go down. And now Junhao on the mighty flank of Destiny here as Zhao's just collapsing too.
He has no idea. The Vault Breaker down. Cease Assist comes across through the charm. There is the big-time Featherstorm. The Keeper's Verdict doesn't hit anybody out, but the Realm Warp in. Here's Saber, and all of a sudden, it's all Ultra Prime. 4 members exert their force on the bot side, and they find their prize once again. Starry is the gold medal, and the silver soon to come as Moham has nowhere to run, but into the Mystic Shots of Wako. Here is grabbing this dragon to stop Soul Point.
Yeah, Slayer, this is it's becoming a bit messy on Summoner's Rift, even though we only had 11 kills. Read on paper that you got 2-0 versus OMG, which is probably an expectation, Wako.
Okay, so you have to cleanse the charm. Knockup still comes. The taunt lands for Charlotte. Great CC layering. And Rude Dude's message rings true. That is not the first time Wako has died with flash up.
No, and I mean, the play there
is slow. I think that's Junhao's plan to try and slow this one down, but Wako's not up for about 20 seconds. This is a 4v5 without your AD carry, completely split fight. Keeper's Verdict goes Beishong into Junhao's waiting arms, but now they're going to try and solo down Charlotte. A very tanky Galio. Harry flies in the background. Zhong is sectioned out. Xiaosha's down next. OMG will not relent. They want to avoid the broom, sweeping them out of the Nirvana group, and this Baron might just lock us in the distance.
And Starry free hitting the entire time with these Navori flicker blades as well. There are so many feathers out on the map, Slayer, that there's never really an opportunity for this Xayah to not deal DPS. There was no way in for Junhao as well. He was constantly trying to find and weave his way back in, but he was constantly routed.
But here's the problem. Yorick is corralled into the base. Zhang has nowhere to really free fly with the Maiden. Has to answer constant Baron waves, and Ultra Prime have to give up their middle inhibitor with Little Murmur in Rebellion.
Reminder that this OMG composition is going to thrive in the 5 versus 5. It's Ultra Prime that are looking to constantly be tricksy, use those side lanes, and try and find a way back that way. Junhao spotted out finally there, and Beishang immediately going to hop on top of him.
No, without the rest of the team though, and he does get a small win Junhao with this smite taking away the wolves, but just buying time. Still a whole minute on this Baron. Multiple waves that will bring in here as OMG try and force down this bottom tier 3 turret. Or maybe just look for the fight of a century as Wako is picked again. Cleanse and Flash were up, but Wako does not press them. And he falls and maybe brings down all of Ultra Prime with him. The Maiden is next to fall. The Nexus turrets are completely exposed. And OMG, they want to go for the throat here and now to force this game the distance. Xiaosha trying to desperately run away, but there's the impale. Finds Saber. He goes to the stasis, but's going to watch the rest of his team crumble to OMG. The Keeper's Verdict does buy a bit of time here. Harry on the front line taking a ton of damage. Finally, they do knock down Junhao, but Harry has rung wild, and OMG will not fall, will not be swept out of their final series in the LPL. We're going the distance.
Not necessarily the greatest engagers, I would say. This is going to be a really good opportunity now for Moham to once again flex his muscle, show his caliber, and try and give OMG their first series win of this Rumble stage. The Grubs spawning on that top side very, very soon. Starry and Moham push this wave in, use the Lilia AoE wave clear. They should be able to take those Void Grubs nice and quickly as well. You can already see actually Saber popping his way up to this top side. It doesn't look like OMG are going to get these uncontested.
Charlotte does not have the ability to teleport back and is channeling the recalls, so if you get Junhao up here in time, man advantage over to Ultra Prime as Wako tries to swing around, and I think Beishang, sensing the danger, might try and just play for one of those grubs, but OMG are sticking around cautiously. They want to see if they get the piercing arrow steal. They get the smite, though, out of Junhao, so now this last grub, the big grub, nobody has smite
50-50.
Oh, boy. And look at Charlotte. Didn't have to teleport in, walks their way down, and the old puffing chest at each other and trying to scare each other off works, just like it does in the Animal Kingdom, and the winner is OMG on. They do have some first item advantages coming across here, and finally something pops. It's Zhang soloing out Starry. Flash does not save him. Zhang follows, and a Death Brush camp gets the first kill done in about 12 minutes.
Really solid performance from Zhang again, finding a timer to find a quick pick there. Starry uses Flash, Cleanse, and ulti.
Right into by Saber, but it's hard to really punish that Tristana. A lot of pings though coming towards this Drake. Is OMG, despite the rate he carries pitfalls, do look like they want to contest this Drake. Junhao taking his sweet time. There's the snap engage coming across, but Moham denies Xiaosha. That big counter pick, the R5 Alistair coming across and providing a ton of value as there goes Beishang, getting a little lullaby onto 2. Xiaosha falls, and they get Saber to fall asleep in the Shroud. Has to flash out, perfect execute back over the wall, and one catch from Moham wins that fight for OMG.
They find the dragon, but they're losing out on the top side. Ultra Prime don't commit to bringing the Jace down. Harry teleports in, doesn't really find anything from it. They might be able to get a wave in the mid lane, but Starry's right there as well, so he's going to want the majority of that gold. John going to find the first brick as well. So found first blood, finds first brick, and all of a sudden that gold lead in the top lane. Now we get to see a little bit more posturing around this bot side, and the tier 1 turret that Charlotte's looking to take down with just an extra person there, whilst the Rift Herald on the top side is getting taken by Ultra Prime. It's going to give OMG a little bit of a window into this bot side and finding that turret.
Just get some more gold back. It's a classic trade, only to give the Herald for current gold and the investment of good old Shelly or Junhao. Manifest some time later. I'd like to see Junhao try maybe overload towards a lane that Zhang's in and just try and push this Jace's lead further.
Because that is really damning, so we'll keep our eyes out for how that ends up looking in this series, and I think that's what they're playing for here.
Oh, Charlotte's got to be careful. Buster shot comes across. Saber has flash. That might just be at least flash is traded, but the Tristana still survives. The win, though, for Ultra Prime, whenever there's action happening on the other part of the map, is that Jong is getting wins, and that's another turret taken behind the Jace.
They can make a fight happen here. Saber, you'd think, would TP in. Junhao, though, he's not really in position. He's a little too far away. Second Drake of either one of these two sides can be in favor of OMG, and again, Slayer, we just have to sort of slow the pace of this game. It's very Nirvana here, where these teams are not particularly keen to fight around those objectives, it seems, and this time out, once again, we're just stalling. Where it got pretty scrappy pretty quickly. We see Harry and Saber just chilling versus actually trying to fight. Again, very John looking at Wako as well. What can they do to set the tides for this fight a little bit earlier on? Junhao into the pit. OMG looking now, sniffing around.
Saber is sitting on this blast cone, willing to fly in. Zhao is there as well. Wako, you do not want to be a part of that group. Does not. Goes out. Going to likely drop the curtain call. We're going to 50-50 this thing. If we can even get the jungler close enough, but Beishong just secures it. Gets the Lilting Lullaby onto 2, and immediately Ultra Prime are now on the back foot. Junhao has been left and hung out to dry on his lonesome. Ultra Prime have to back up their jungler. And maybe it's Charlotte that's actually caught. Has to flash out back to safety, but there's Saber. Gets through all of the Tristana peel and opens up the killing for Ultra Prime. OMG are on Mountain Soul Point, but now they're down a man, and Charlotte's flying in. There's the playmaking of this Neferi and Akali showing their roots. And a kill is picked up. Feats of Warfare finally secured. Zhaosha has a pick onto Beishong off to the side. Does Junhao have enough damage to finish the kill off? No! So 2 kills is the price for Mountain Soul Point in OMG's name.
Using the poke here, they need to see Starry step up. These bowling balls will still deal damage, and they've actually put Ultra Prime out of mid lane. Junhao goes in here, but
Junhao
eats
a headbutt and burns that coveted flash. So again, couple of over-eager positions for both these junglers. Done here, Root Dude. What's most important for these two teams is just executing a fight on their own terms. We have not seen that yet in 30 minutes of action. Instead, we've just seen this. Both teams just walking closer to each other, and Junhao this time wins the 50-50. No Mountain Soul over to OMG. Are they going to try and fight to get some sort of angle back into this one? Good side stuff from Harry away from the Deadly Flourish, and once again, nobody is willing to break this stalemate. 4 kills in 30 minutes.
Saber with the Proto Belt forward, he's got enough people nearby. Are they on that Baron? They are, so with Charlotte being chunked, they think that that's enough for them to start it off. Beishong throws one into the pit.
Beishong has Stasis, has Flash. Instead, he's going to commit the Lilting Lullaby into one member, but guess who the one member is? It's Zhong. Chains of Corruption down. Can they bop the Jace before the fight even begins? The Ignite the slows. There it is. They get the kill with the Faded Ashes. Zhong goes down, but Xiaosha goes in. Junhao gets the first execution. Immediately watches his rel get popped. The curtain call blocked off. They can't get the kill onto Harry. So Ultra Prime have to run for the high hills now that they don't have their Jace, and they're once again backed off the Baron play.
And the tense game just keeps getting tenser here. Slayer as a posture around the Baron. OMG with a slight advantage here. They've got 1 extra member on the map. What can they do with it here? With 3 members of Ultra Prime still standing strong, they're actually looking for a flank and a collapse. Oh,
Starry has to cleanse a Deadly Flourish. Good land there from Wako. In goes Saber with that perfect execution. He doesn't need it this time. Starry goes down. Saber buying so much time in the Shroud. Finally pops out. Slow on to Wako, though.
30 seconds of free reign across Summoner's Rift. Baron should just be taken.
Do OMG make the desperate play to shut down this Baron. It's going down pretty slow. Oham does not get crashed down onto by Xiaosha. Baron still over 10k HP, pretty healthy, buying a lot of space for Beishong to churn and burn through this Lilia. Charlotte hopping forward as well, looking for a Buster shot. They just popped the rel. Tristana resets are unreleased, and they're going all after one Jog again. He has no way to fight back. 4 versus 1, but here comes Saber once more, flying into the backline. Curtain call doing a ton of damage. Moham takes up all of it. There's the good headbutt though. Gets Saber away from Beishong. He survives, and Charlotte just goon stomps him home. Ultra Prime's team fight woes burn down their Baron timer.
It's Moham Alistair to save this fight for OMG. Out of stasis, Saber's just biding his time, waiting to destroy OMG. But a headbutt from Moham stops him in his tracks. And now, OMG, they held firm. They thwarted the engage, they thwarted the Baron, and now they claim it for themselves.
OMG want to go out from the LPL on their own terms, on their own high.
One way, leaves AD carry to go the other. And then you think that Saber's going to clean house here. This looks so good for an Akali.
Oh, whoa.
And we don't get a chance.
I was going to
the
say.
soul's been taken.
Live, yeah, Junhao was late, and Baron gets them the soul. I love how Otacon is the only thing left. We got a Mountain Soul and a Baron taken. Poor Otacon is just standing there watching everybody else fight. But here comes OMG barreling down the mid lane.
With the Baron at their back as well. Slow recalls for OMG. It looks like they're still trying to take this Otacon, but they may lose the game before they can take it down. Yeah, Junhao's going to find it. They lose their inhibitor. Now they've got to channel 8 seconds. Can they lose Nexus turrets here as well?
Yeah, it might be here. OMG looking to end it. They finally broke the seal on the fighting. They'll get the Nexus turret, but the recalls do come across for Ultra Prime, so OMG have to calm down, check themselves, take a deep breath in, and make the call here. You could throw the game away, going all out for the win, but OMG sense that this may be their big opportunity to do so. Headbutt, Saber away, comes out from Moham, who's marking this Akali. Big poke down to Xiaoxia, about half HP. Harry and the Ouster standing tall in the front line, just like OMG drafted for. But they have to worry about these two assassins. The flank angles are starting to really rear their ugly heads. But OMG are just going to stay calm. They can fortify. And they're just
they can slowly chip away at this turret. They've got another explosive charge ready for Charlotte. Just puts that on the turret. 2-3 autos, and now they engage.
There goes Moham flying on in. They get to sleep on Zhang. He's down once more. Here goes OMG looking for the one marker they couldn't find all split long. And damn it, they're going to do it. They might not have had the 2025 they wanted, but OMG go out on top. Chris going to try and get this counter pick down onto Kyle on the Leona. Alistair is such a pivotal support champion pick. I think one of the most important ones in the LPL.
On that mini-map, Flandre looking to try and catch this wave, but Kyle's here, Hope's here. Maybe 369 gets a little bit caught out.
Here we go. Flandre flashes forward. He picked this Ornn against TS months ago, and he's looking to fight with it into the Rumble. 369 flashes and dies for the first kill of this series. And how it plays into the new grub timer and such as well. Right now, Kanavi trying to solo sneak his way through that dragon, but I'm actually surprised that Pink Ward didn't pick up the ward by AL. Is Cream forcing Shanks to flash away with just one use of the Between Worlds. Kanavi comes off the dragon, immediate snap engage from Chris, goes down, but Kyle holds Kanavi in place, so Tarzan gets some safety. Cream is out of mana, but Kyle is out of dashes to get back to safety. He falls, but in comes Flandre with the Ornhorn, hits onto 2, Tarzan goes into the untargetable, but the shield bails out Kanavi, sneaks away with a sliver of help, but no! Tarzan gets the kill through the pack?
Let's say. And I think that his performance so far in 2025 has been very, very impressive. He's now got the burden of being the late game hypercarry for his team on this Azir. And if they can get to that late game, if they can get to those 5-6 items and reach it at parity, Shanks is the one who's going to do the most damage. He's the one who's got that playmaking capability with the Azir as well. So
look at that Leandri's and the push and pull showing itself on the Rift here as topside and reset timers open up TES to take that dragon for free. So we split both of the opening dragons. That's got to feel good for Top Esports, knowing that they have control of the grubs from a couple minutes ago. Ultimate won't be down for as long as it usually feels like, and AL are once again using their side lane, the opposite side of the play there for TES on that tier 1 turret to find their own advantages. So they use Shanks' Prio in top lane to try and get this Rift Herald for free here. I think with that Blast Cone going down, it will be secured.
And there we go then. Like, this is such a back and forth game, such a trade of minuscule proportions, I think. Rift Herald going down. This is on a ward.
Yep, Chains of Corruption comes across. Kyle trying to chain the CC together. Does it perfectly. There was nothing Chris could do. That guy didn't move the entire time. He just blinked back to a gray screen. And now the gates start to open up a bit more.
Exactly, now the floodgates start to open. That Herald gets placed. The mid-tier 1 is going to be the focus. It's going to get taken down. And with no support, it's a very real world that they look for something on the bot side here as Top Esports are looking.
Yep, Flandre completely surrounded, has his flash. If he wants to buy space, gets away from the first low, but 369 follows him. Up further, up creek here, TS are trying to force their fight with the flank manifesting. 369 finds that pick, and now Tarzan, Hope, and Kyle have a lot less angles to get out, and Kanavi is sniffing for a kill. Kyle gets found out. Hope has to flash away from Chris, but here comes the curtain call. You don't need the damage, you just need the slows. Double stun from Chris. 4 shot sinks through, but Kanavi is completely burned through. Tarzan finds the first kill. He's got all the pack with him, but he can't get onto Chris until he jumps back forward, finds himself another reset. Tarzan is certainly going to make it costly for him to drop, but TES play the map well enough and open up the map in their favor.
Forward here. And Kanavi as well, they just tank so much damage. It's good from Hope and Tarzan that they're not just running away. They're pumping out DPS on their way out. And if that Q would have landed, maybe it would have been fine. But Shank's finding a kill, it seems, on live.
That scaling threat. Flandra delivers on the dive. That's another turret down. And like you talked about, as much of a win as that was for Top Esports in the kills.
So he's so close to being strong, and you can see denying these creeps, denying this experience as well. He's doing everything he can to choke out the side lanes for the Forge God.
Flandra trying to team up with Tarzan.
And Flandra now has been targeted by 4 people at Top Esports, but there are reinforcements on their way.
No flash, nor Ornhorn. Flandra, how much time can you buy becomes the question. He's surviving a pretty long time. Nobody wanted to commit to find the kill, and they left Kanavi. They hung him out to dry under the turret. First kill found. Tarzan gets a reset, but doesn't want to push his advantage too far here. Here comes the equalizer down. 369 on the flank. Curtain call. So much damage getting compacted as they try to find Tarzan. Kyle takes the last 4 shot, and boy, was that a great sacrifice because 369's the trade. Now Hope steps up, but Cream's already half HP. These arrows are about to start hurting if they land. But Tarzan's trying to slip out. Look who's on the hunt. It's Jackie Love flashing after him. Smells blood in the water, and he sinks it home with a crit shot. That's the difference you get from Jackie Love.
He just flashes over the wall, headshots Tarzan, sends him back to the grey screen to these fights. If this is a mammoth farming effort from Shanks for him to do nothing in these team fights, then trust me, anyone's legend, they're going to be fuming about it. But if he can turn up to these team fights and start manifesting great successes.
As a player on this Azir, and now put in a position to carry, you put it so well, dude. If this is an AL loss, a lot of the questions are going to come Shanks' way about how he played these fights out. And if it's a win, boy, are we singing the praises of a guy who we're also looking for him to find some consistency, kind of like Cream has in these recent games for TES.
The Atacon immediately started. Tarzan and Hope, the two doing this. Shanks, you can see just off on his top side. Here comes the ulti.
Yep, first fight with Shanks. How does this look? He tries to fly in with the Emperor's Divide, but immediately just pops Kanavi. There's the Shanks difference. There's the 2-item Azir difference. And now TS are scrambling to find some way back in towards this Atacon, who, by the way, is doing a fair share of damage on the back end, just churning through AL's health bars, and now they're completely scattered. There's Jacula fighting the big shot onto Kyle. Atacon resets. AL are way too hurt to try and continue to push this fight, as juggling Atacon aggro might have burned them.
More so that it's Crisp and Kyle who are starting these fights and dictating what happens and when.
You just spotted that. Shanks gets a decent chunk onto Kanavi with 1 Sand Soldier. Kanavi's down to half HP. That's enough. TS call off the Dragon Stop. And AL, while it is a Cloud Soul, it's not everybody's fan favorite. They are on Soul Point in 5 minutes if they can find it. Seeing this, TS have allowed AL to try and entrap them, try to circle them out. It's Kyle that you have to watch on to try and start this fight. Solar Flare Zenith blade forward, or is it the Ornhorn from Flandra? Finally, the floodgates may open as TS are backed off the Atacon. A 50-50 may be coming in, but there goes Kyle, secured by Tarzan. They get the Atacon. Shanks stasis is the crash down from Chris. Can Shanks get back out to safety? No, Kanavi's following after him. How much value does Shanks get? Absolutely nothing. 369, though, does not survive Tarzan's rampage, but anyone's legend just cannot fight without Shanks. TES's target selection reigns supreme.
Jackie and Kanavi are going to walk towards the Baron. Cream will take a pit stop at the tier 1 turret, and all of that hard work, all of the gold that Shanks had funneled into him comes home for nothing.
While a Jin Baron take is slow, there's no one to stop him. He'll survive that pick play, though. He has the rest of his team pretty far up, so no scare there, just a little bit of a fright. TS going to set their sights back on a tier 2 turn and just continue farming gold off this Baron.
Back in their favor, the momentum in favor of Top Esports as they've just taken a ring of turrets away from them, and now Top Esports closing in.
They're walking into 369's trap, throws down the equalizer, but he's a little too far forward on his own, but they find the kill onto Hope. They commit a ton of ultimates, not towards Shanks this time, but towards the AD carry. Can Shanks step up and push the damage to the Sand Soldiers? Look at the Emperor's Divide, throws on to Kanavi. He gets out, and Tarzan is soloed out by Jacula, barely able to survive. Kanavi uses the GA to buy more time for Cream, who nearly eviscerates Kyle, but Shanks flies in with the army behind him. Jackie Love can't step up to try and decide this fight. AL bide their time and grit out a gnarly fight win.
Shanks leading the charge for AL. It was Crisp with a rare whiff there on the rel engage, and they might look for now.
Shakes! No! He goes into the stasis, gets away from the deadly flourish. Jackie Love about half HP, but Shakes flies in. Can the crit shot come? No! The bell has not been rung, and Shakes is going to cash in a double that sets up Cloud Soul for anyone's Legends.
AL reap what they sow. They gave the gold to Shanks, and finally he comes home to harvest. The bot lane of top esports have no chance of fighting him, and they just barely can't make it work. Anyone's Legend. They find the soul now, and they can move into the rest of this game, knowing that all that time, all that effort that they put into Shanks will pay off. But it's not really about that gold anymore. We're at the stage in the game where it's about momentum. It's about who feels confident to step forward and take these fights as Tarzan hops straight onto Cream.
Oh, they're going all out. Look at it. Shanks fly in. Cream is completely cooked. Shanks' Azir does not disappoint and blows TES out of the water. What a pick to find. Guaranteeing Baron now swings back into the hands of AL.
May have just secured them. Maybe not the game in this instance. Maybe it is just the Baron, and I'm getting too far ahead of myself. But the 5v2 on the map. AL get the Baron. Tarzan finding one half. Shanks finds the other. This game number 1, once again, this heavyweight matchup of 2025. The best two teams of the LPL period for this year continue to deliver.
And some of the plagues, the shortcomings of TS in these single games really starting to hurt them again. They've been known to throw gold leads. And Kanavi's been able to bail them out of some of the bigger games, but this is anyone's Legends we're talking about. They're just a different level, potentially one that can contend with TS as we continue to talk about the future of this LPL split to worry about. And that cannon minion, Baroned up, is trying to do all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, Crisp is down 5 levels on Hope. He takes 1 piercing arrow and loses a third of his HP. Has to go back to base. With the wave finally coming in.
Oh, Jackie Love gets hit with the solar flare. That's cleanse out of Jackie Love, so a little less space for this Jhin.
That's 2 ultis down.
They'll have to be careful. They've lost some of their key engage ultimates. Maybe don't want to overpush. This is exactly what TS want to do in their wheelhouse, but again, Hope hits another huge arrow.
That we talked about for Flandre, for Kael. They're back up and ready, and now 369, what are you doing?
You're completely out of your element. You're way too far up. That is free pickings for AL.
Anyway, without the equalizer, without the curtain call, but now without a member, it gets even harder.
And they're going after Kanavi. He gets knocked up. Kael finds that pick to GA, is only going to bide him some mere seconds as he watches his fate be sealed. The cease and desist is a marginal play. Kanavi falls. AL will turn back towards the Elder, but they might be able to just take this thing mid lane and win the whole game.
With 45 seconds on Kanavi, what is the choice? What do AL opt into? Nobody's recalling. We're walking down mid lane. It's the final charge.
AL are playing with a vengeance, and they want to finish this thing now. But TS have bought enough time for Kanavi to return.
Yeah, they have no Baron, though. They have no waves that they can't easily be cleared out. Piercing arrows from Hope, buying so much space. Cream and Jackie Love doing what they can to wave clear. Equalizer ready and available as well.
The big beast TS are backed into a corner. There's only one way through to try and fight, but Cream's already at about half HP. Shanks is getting a ton of damage through. Kael goes in, and Equalizer does nothing. Shanks' damage is just ludicrous, and AL bring the boom and knock TS down in this series with Elder to sing it home. It was topsy-turvy, but anyone's Legends were up for the task, and they are going to repeat the last series, go up 1-0 over Top Esports.
As far as his damage goes, yes, very high output as we move later into the game, but very susceptible to getting caught out by the likes of Nautilus ulti, Sedge ultis, right? He's a very short-range marksman, so we need to keep our eyes out for how AL can look to push this envelope. You go toe-to-toe with a Corki quite nicely as you move into the late game, so it's not something that you'd necessarily be worried about. Tarzan taking this dragon, and so far, Top Esports haven't responded on that top side with the Grubs, and I don't know that they'll be able to necessarily very easily.
Dragon for the Grubs, though it does have much bigger ramifications knowing you're the Yorick comp. That's definitely telling something.
Now they're looking for a fight here. Remember, this is going to be Grand Starfall for Tarzan.
Yeah, but look at Kael. He's just so persistent. Jackie Love flashes. That's a perilous bullet time trying to save his own skin. And what do they get off the back of that as well? They grab the grub as Shanks goes toe-to-toe with Cream here. Much more healthier, trying to use the shield to buy himself time. He doesn't care about the Arcane Storm. He doesn't care about the rename at all. All he cares about is AL wins. They get the first kill, they stop the grub stacking, and they're just finding them.
Honestly, kind of out of nowhere, but now they might be caught out on the top side.
Remember, Holt doesn't have any flash. Kyle does have the Unbreakable Will. He's going to pop it. Gets a bunch of big knockups. He's surviving and really just thriving right now into Chris 369 and Kanavi. In comes Tarzan. The Glacial Prison on the backside of Kyle will trade him. But that's support for top laner. And look at Hope, who just gets the free hit this entire fight home. All the space brought by Kyle. Cash's feats of warfare for anyone's Legends.
And for return damage, and Kyle never falters. He's always walking forward here, knowing that Grand Starfall's coming through.
Look at the pick that Kyle has found. Live, he picks off 369 without a flash. The live feed doesn't do that justice. It's Kyle again.
Have a short run at things in a side lane, but he's finding plates in this series, finding a little bit more gold, and now Kyle once again.
He takes the turret aggro a bit early before the minions, but Unbreakable Will getting a ton of value, and he just layers the stun so well. Kyle is running the defending champs of the LPL right now.
And Jackie Love again has flash, has barrier there, but the second he gets hit by that knockup, I don't think he was expecting it to be so easy for anyone's Legends to take him down.
Kanavi, this is a 50-50. He just gift wrapped the Drake and then jumps into Flandra. Shanks is here. AL are playing like they're 6v5 on the map right now, and they are just bodying the 10-1 top Esports.
And this is how AL did this back in Demacia Cup, back in Split 1. They just move faster around the map. They just have, it seems to be more
Oh my God. Tarzan, you mad lad.
Is it 2 grubs total that they've sacrificed so far this game? And outside of that, nothing else.
Here we go, though. Kyle, star of the show so far. Grabbing the attention of 3, make it 4. And he is definitely caught. Also, a teleport coming through from Shanks. Bit late. Do they want to try and contest this Herald take?
Probably not, is my overarching theory here, as we may see Tarzan super cone in.
Doesn't really have a lot of ways out. He has the flash. Just going to give the Herald. Hope's got to be careful stepping up this far as well. The numbers are definitely to the side of TES, but maybe the shockwave damage alongside the Pantheon's enough to get Chris. The Glacial Prison does not stop the Q forward.
We're just going to see turrets taken, jungle taken, and Jackie will force to flash.
Oh my lord. Trades flashes with Jackie Love.
He might die though, look at 369.
Yeah, flashes forward 369 with that killer instinct, gonna punish Hope for trying to take down Jackie Love. All that just to protect the mid-tier 1 turret. Chip Pedigree. They've made dramatic comebacks. They've seen it all at this point, and they know how to play from behind, but I don't know if 369 knows how to play into the Maiden and this Yorick. Tarzan flies in to secure the kill, but I think that one was a 1v1.
There's nothing to be done. If you have your cannon out, maybe you can start your W off and quickly rattle your way through the process of taking down that cage, but now again, free time plus demolish, like he's baiting here, just trying to bait them in. How much damage can he do? Tier 2 turret's gonna go down. Yorick doesn't play.
They're dropping like they're made of plywood right now, and this is a similar thing that AL were trying to do in game 1, right? As we continue to revisit the Cream scaling conversation, build time for him to be a monster.
For the Victor to have the massive impact that we know that he can have, and now he's caught in the baby cage.
He's caught in the baby cage. Cream's put in timeout, gets a first stun, but the slows are starting to stack, and Flandra is hunting him down with the spade. How much space can Cream buy? Another slow comes across. He goes flash for flash, but the ghouls will follow you anywhere, Cream. Flandra solo bolo.
And now it's a question for top esports. Can they even look to fight this dragon? If they do, they did lose everything top.
They're going in for Kyle. They have the teleporter Shanks coming across here. Hope off to the side. Kyle flies in, gets a 2-man knockup. It's onto Jackie Love. Melee burns the barrier. Kanavi sectioned off, though. The bullet time is hitting nobody until the hook comes in and finds Shanks. Grand Starfall comes across. They're going to go all after Jackie Love. Can Tarzan do enough burst damage? Yes, he can. Down falls Jackie Love. Tarzan and Chris flashing out to safety, and 369 on the wrong side of the fight is trying to run for high heaven, just buying time. But fate will come for him soon. Hope on the hunt, get a Valkyrie over the wall. Can he get the rocket lined up? 369, how much space can he buy? He's getting a whole lot of work done here, but finally the auto sinks through and locks in another AL team fight win. Watch right now. The push and pull, marvelous between the two.
And they are doing exactly what they need to with getting that gold onto the Yorick. And now Shockwave again.
Oh, it's all onto
Goodbye.
Chris, though. So they commit the Shockwave onto Chris. They still have damage dealers like Cream and Jackie Love trying to push out a ton of damage on the backside, but that bullet time gets 0 value. That is a dollar store bullet time from Jackie Love. And 369 gets stunned up by Tarzan, who just reads them like a book. Jackie Love has nowhere to go. Shakes and Hope are waiting on cooldowns. Jackie Love flashing forward, trying to desperately make the difference, but just like TES, it falls flat.
On one time, and the Atacon will go on the other. And this game might as well just be chalked.
Oh, Rude Dude, I have one important question for you. How many extra Yorick games did we just buy in Group of 10 thanks to Flandre right now?
Yeah, it's going to be at least 5.
Okay,
because
5.
It looked mediocre in Group Nirvana. And honestly, I don't know that Flandre is the linchpin of this game. Mammoth proportions.
We've gone through 9 of those best of 3s already, and we're looking for teams to level up in the second round robin. And AL are showing that it might just be their time to shine. Kyle, I mean, this guy just ignores damage with ease. Tarzan flies in. Bullet time completely blocked by Tarzan with a shockwave. Doesn't find its mark on it, and he carries. It's Chris to die first. This time, Shanks and Cream are both a part of this fight. But look at Flandre. You were asking for him to finally join the bounce, and boy, did he make a statement just casually walking up with the main and eviscerating that fight. And now he's flashing after Cream. Flandre wants the brooms out. Flandre wants the sweep of your defending champions.
Anyone's Legend are going to 2-0 top Esports. Game 1, we said it was just a top thing. Game number 2 is AL dominating.
It is 25 minutes, and TES are battered, they're bruised, and they are done for. Today is not the name of just anyone's Legends, it's these 5 Legends as they topple the Titans.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.